welcome back to another episode of the Column Podcast. I'm your host Renath, and today we have our co-host Ratish. Today, as you can see, there's three screens. There are three screens here, rather than the two that you normally see. And today we have a special guest, Thisal. Thank you for joining us on the Column Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks both of you for having me. So honored to
It's a
be here.
pleasure, man.
I assume you use
Yeah.
what's the name of that? After Effects, right? For
Yes,
animations.
I do After Effects for so the video and animations and small stuff. I do use After Effects. Yeah.
After Effects. Okay, okay. So I want to touch up more on the 4D thing. So when did you discover this software, and how did you become a pro from a novice?
Okay. Disclaimer: I'm not a pro. I'm still learning. I'm
Have a look at his
still
Instagram,
figuring
man.
things
Have a
out.
look at his Instagram. Talking to the
Let's
audience.
look at it. Yeah.
There's
Talk-
but there's so many things you can do. I'm still learning. I think every designer is a learner basically.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
we have a lot to
cinema.
learn, man. But still, you got
Exactly. You will keep learning. If you're a designer or like that,
yeah,
like a programmer that field, you'll just keep learning every single day.
every
So
single day. It's numerous, man.
it is right. So like Cinema 4D thing, I came across on this software, and I think in 2019. So I saw it and I saw, this is it was like pretty interesting. So in 2019, I was purely working with Photoshop, like manipulations and like artworks and stuff. So I saw this cool guy making like really cool stuff on Instagram, like really abstract, like mind blowing things.
Mhm.
So I was like amazed by this stuff. So I actually texted the guy and asked, which program do you use? He was like, I use Cinema 4D. And this was like the first time hearing the name. And I thought like, oh, this sounds like a huge program that it would take years, like fucking decade to learn this. So I actually looked up online, and there was a program, and I saw the UI. It was hella complex, like those tiny buttons, like millions of
I hate
buttons,
them.
like
I
Photoshop.
hate them.
I hated them at first because like when you look at Photoshop, I mean there is like ton of buttons, but when you compare the buttons and the functions on Cinema 4D, it's just like you have like thousand times more buttons and places to click and the functions in Cinema 4D, which
I know, right?
overwhelmed me. And it got me to my head, dude, this is gonna take you years. Then I found the software and I downloaded it. I watched some tutorials. I tried it for like a week or two, and I
Mm-hmm.
gave up. I just gave up completely. I'm like, no, this is not gonna work. This is
Was
really
it that
hard.
bad?
It's just like I like that's the thing, right? I did exactly what the tutorial said, and it didn't happen anything that tutorial showed. Like I'm like, how the hell is that impossible? I literally did every single small thing. So I was just
Okay.
frustrated. I was just like, why? And I just uninstalled software. And then later on, in 2019, I think in November, I start after following this guy. So Instagram is really tricky because once you actually discover something new, if you actually like it, the algorithm works is they're gonna send you more on that
Yeah.
kind of similar stuff.
Yeah.
So I started getting similar artworks and stuff. So I spend quite some time per day on Instagram. So I just start to see these really cool things on that done in Cinema 4D. So I was like really inspired and was like, hey, I should really give it a go. So I found like a very basic tutorial because the problem was like months ago I tried a tutorial which was like an advanced tutorial that it take me like years to actually figure out.
Mm-hmm.
I started with like a really small tutorial, like a very text-based tutorial. I downloaded the software. I downloaded like the render engine also. I did it, and it came out at least 90% accurate what the tutorial showed. And I was like, okay, this actually makes sense. And I actually started loving it. Then after I did about like 5 to 6 artworks looking at tutorials, and I did like two, three. I mean, in total, I did about like 8 or 9 artworks looking at different tutorials from like different people on YouTube. And just to mention, this was all free. I looked at those tutorials. I
Mm-hmm.
hadn't paid a single cent. It was all on YouTube. So after that, I just kind of figured out how to use the like functions, and I after that 8 9 artworks, I just start to build things from scratch, like using my own imagination, not looking at tutorials. I mean, of course, I looked at tutorials like just to get an idea how like a small function
Yeah.
works, but like the overall artwork was
Concept.
based on my head. Yeah. So
Nice.
that was pretty good. I mean, like after that, we got into lockdown, which gave me more time to focus
Plenty
on
of
that.
time. Plenty of
Plenty
time
of
on
time.
it.
I had about like I spent about like good 3 to 4 hours per day working with Cinema 4D, which I don't
Okay.
have right now. So I don't think I have so many unfinished artworks that I did on December and November. I still haven't put it out. So
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
I don't have a lot of time now, which is time is very crucial. So, but yeah, so I think
Okay.
that's pretty much how those.
How long does it take for you to man like to render it out itself to generate the
Mm-hmm.
outcome of Cinema 4D?
Nice.
So to render, so rendering depends on your computer, like the rig that you use. Which in my
Yeah.
case, I have like a very basic rig. I think my one is like 1050 Ti and 16 GB RAM and i5. So
That's
very
very basic.
basic.
It's very
It's
basic.
it's basic. Okay, it's basic.
So okay, no, okay. See, that's the thing, right? Even I do like I thought it was a good rig
Mm.
until I just started looking into the people who does Cinema 4D, like purely Cinema 4D, because
Yeah,
there's
of
this
course.
guy called Eduard.io. So he's like a really good with Cinema 4D and he does
Okay.
like amazing stuff. So he had about like 120 gigs of RAM and he had about like 3 to 4 render engines, like graphic cards. So
Okay.
that's how much power it takes. So like usually to render like a still artwork, it would take about like an hour or two. If it's
Oh,
Ten
like a
ten
no, like 1 hour or two to
1 node.
render
Okay. Okay.
to
Okay.
render
still
like
an
a
Understand.
hour.
Yeah.
An
yeah to
hour.
just to get it like properly out. So if it's a
How,
still like a not a moving, it's just a
not
picture.
a footage
If it's
itself.
Yeah, it's
no,
just a
if it's a
picture.
video, might
Picture.
take about like
A
four
day.
to five hours, which
Oh, okay.
No,
takes
like
a
I
lot
have
of
seen
time.
some couple of videos. Like
It,
one of the videos said it took almost 2 days to render it out. Like it was a
it
10
does.
minute.
Yes, 10 minutes is a long. Like I had about like 12 seconds. Video took me about like 4 hours in my PC. So it takes so much of
Oh.
time, and like for those
Oh,
things, like when people face those problems in like all over the world, there's this thing called render farms, which is like people who are dedicated to render your things. So they have about like really good PCs all around the world. So you basically upload your all your files to their website. They will render it for you, which is like quickly as possible. They only charge for that render time. Let's say if it takes like 4 hours on my PC, I can send it to them. They have about like I think Xenon processors, like i9 processor and all that stuff. So we'll take about like if it's take 4 hours on mine, we'll take about like I don't know 15 minutes on them, and they'll charge for that 15 minutes. So I
Mm.
didn't want to invest that much on Cinema 4D because I didn't want to invest till I am actually making money out of it because I'm just
mhm.
purely doing it for fun.
Yeah.
I haven't made this. I don't make money out of doing Cinema 4D stuff. I'm just doing it because it's fun to me.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yes,
So yeah,
it all starts with fun, dude.
Yeah.
it is. I mean, I guess
It-
yeah.
yeah,
No,
all
no, but
starts with
it's.
fun.
I think it's worth it. It's absolutely fantastic. Those stills.
We're moving for it, man. We are seriously. Our future is all about it.
Yeah,
Animation is future.
exactly.
That's the thing.
Absolutely, man. Like
Fantastic. So you will learn everything from YouTube, right, bro?
yes,
Everything from YouTube. So.
I 99% from YouTube. I
Mm-hmm.
think that 1%. I think there's this platform called Domestika. I
Mm-hmm.
think they came
Oh,
out
okay.
like last year, so they started
Yeah.
running these cool ads on Instagram. So I
Yeah.
think I took about a course or two. It's not to Cinema 4D thing. It's just for like my professional like thing to like understanding clients and all that stuff, like art
Okay.
direction and all like those stuff. I did invest like some cash on it, but like understanding how to work with the softwares and like figuring out the softwares, it was all purely through
Purely
YouTube
YouTube.
because I think in Sri Lanka people just don't realize how powerful YouTube is, and it's like really
Yes.
underrated
Very
because
underrated.
YouTube can be your basically university. It can teach you everything that you need
Absolutely.
to know.
It does have everything, man. If you wanna earn a fucking lot of knowledge about it, it's still there in YouTube. Everything. It's
Man,
there.
Exactly.
I passed my O levels with YouTube, man. We passed the degree
There you
with O level.
go. There are
Exactly.
people who does their PhDs, their masters just with
Yeah.
YouTube,
Yeah.
with the
Dude,
help of
exactly.
YouTube. So
They
it's
have so
amazing.
many content that can power your knowledge out of it, man. Seriously.
Absolutely.
Exactly. It's just
Absolutely.
lot in not in like a lot of the people don't realize it. They just it's more than just listening to music. It's more than just watching a gaming video. It's
It's
like this
visual,
knowledge
man.
you can
It's
yeah
visualization, dude.
And
exactly.
that's some of the.
It's really big.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
huge. It's fucking knowledge. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Exactly. It's
Absolutely.
like then it's like a fucking huge power plant. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, still we are not taking the huge advantage of it, right, in Sri Lanka. I don't know.
I feel like not yet. I'm
Not
Because
pretty
yet.
of
sure in
the,
the
Probably in the
next
future. Yeah,
I think it's
probably in the
because
next
of
10
future.
to
the,
15 years, I think that
yeah.
already happens with the in Sri Lankan brown culture. The internet and digital age is pretty new to me.
Digitalization, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty new to the parents that living in that sort of an era. And
We are
these days,
still living in a digital divide, dude. We are
Yeah.
still
yeah,
in a separation of it.
separation. Yes. So in the next 10 to 15 years, I'm sure things will change
Will change definitely.
drastically.
Yeah, some of like in early, we are still new to it, right? Still, we are
Exactly.
not getting exactly. We are still new to it. We are like the first generation to explore it. Seriously.
Exactly. Like properly explore it and get the
Properly
best out
explore.
of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
we have lot to go. We have like stimulations and all, right? We are
Yes.
moving on to stimulation next. Virtual
Exactly.
reality,
Virtual
augmented
reality.
reality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we have,
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. I think
Future is scary and big.
yeah.
it
I,
is. Yeah, I feel pretty scared about it though. I exactly. I might be living in a world that I might not realize itself, right? It will
You
go.
hmm.
future can be pretty scary, right? Because like the things that happening with Elon Musk, the new innovation of the
Yeah,
Neuralink, things are
yeah.
becoming the movies becoming very real. So man, I don't
I
know.
know, man.
We
Dude,
just have
Elon
to
Musk.
wait and see.
Dude,
Elon Musk,
You
the
gotta,
man, whatever he touches
the
turns to gold.
man, the man, the real life Iron Man, dude. Dude, he's just
honestly, the
working
real life
towards his
Tony
goal,
Stark.
dude. He
Yeah,
just want to move to Mars, man.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
like,
All the
holy
power to
shit,
him.
man.
That's the thing. So I think I wanted to add one point to that previous thing we talked about. I think over here we
Yep,
could really develop the digital divide if ISPs were in our favor. Like if they gave us like more unlimited data, more unlimited
yep,
packages. So over here
yep.
it's like I'm scared to watch a YouTube video in 480p because I need to save up data, right?
Exactly. I think a lot of people have that problem because
I
like when
think
I'm starting out, I used to watch tutorials in like sometimes 240p, some 360p
360, yeah.
because it was really hectic to watch like that because you can't see small details.
Mm,
I
So
know,
like
right?
when back then I used to watch it in my smartphone, so it was tough learning even in YouTube, even though that was pretty easy because of the whole data problem that Sri Lanka is facing.
mm.
So I think like Sri Lanka has a long way to go when it comes to talk about data and all that stuff.
A long way to go.
Yeah, dude.
Long
Yeah.
as well.
I think.
It's a long ass way to come up, man.
Oh, yeah, I think.
No, like
Exactly.
we saw it in India, dude. India is moving towards the unlimited technology thing. So
Yeah.
it will eventually come to Sri Lanka.
It will eventually, but I have no idea when because like
I
I
think it
don't
will
know.
take a while because they don't
It
have the
will
It'll
take
take
some time.
infrastructure to
a while.
to
Yeah.
have to power that much data. That's the problem because
That's the problem. I think.
their
Yes,
powers and the
like if you take all the Western countries of them,
yeah.
they are moving towards 5G.
Five G.
With
Yeah.
exactly they're moving towards 5G and all those shit.
I can barely get 7 Mbps, man. What the hell?
Trust me,
I
same
don't
man.
know, right? No,
Same. Even my
actually,
Wi-Fi gets like. I mean, you said you play Valorant and stuff, right?
Yeah,
You know how the ping goes.
ping goes. It's
So
I
certainly,
see
man.
1,000 more than 100, right?
how exactly? So I don't know.
That's the
Dude,
thing.
look at we have like certain like to upload our videos itself, it's around 400 MB, right? Normal as videos. So
Yeah.
it takes almost an hour to upload. Almost an hour.
Yeah.
Oh,
More
tell
I
than
me
an
know.
hour,
about it.
more than an hour.
Tell me about
Like,
it. Oh,
oh man, it sucks, dude.
yeah,
Like
man.
It
certain like
is.
if you go
We
like
had
if
a
you go to
friend.
some Western ass countries,
Mm.
it'll just upload in 10 no 5 minutes max.
Yeah. What
That's
did
it.
the Aiden say? We had another guest. He said he uploads his YouTube videos, 20-minute ones in like 5-10 minutes, right?
Yeah, fight it doesn't
Five
even
ten
take
minutes.
that much time. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
it's
Oh,
crazy.
Aiden.
Oh,
Which
Aiden, that's
Aiden we
him.
talking?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the,
Yo,
the
your
guy,
friend,
the same guy.
New Zealand.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay.
Same
Cool.
guy, yeah. I think we had
That's
another
interesting.
doctor. We had a doctor here. He said he uploads his videos. He uploads like 5 videos a day in, in under 5 minutes, and these are big as like medical videos. So
Oh wow. Okay.
it's insane.
Yeah,
We have a long way to go. So
insane. We
uh,
still have a long way to go, man.
yeah,
We
let's move
we
back to
really do.
yeah, let's move back to the script.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, sure. So you said you finished O levels, so you didn't continue A levels.
Yep.
So in Sri Lanka, it's a sin.
It is in
it's, it's,
brown culture. Yes, it is.
it's like a sin. You have to pass and you have to do it. You got to go to
Yeah.
college. So you skipped the two main
You have a
things.
circle to complete, man.
So how did your parents react to it?
Pretty bad. I mean, I grew up in a very like a very normal brown like a household.
Yeah,
Hmm.
The
yeah,
reaction was pretty bad because like I don't know whether you guys heard about this. This is a really famous quote said by this guy called Jay Shetty.
Hmm.
yeah,
Oh
So
yeah.
JCD,
he
yeah.
he he told once in a video in India they they grow up either to be a doctor or to be an engineer or to be a
Yeah.
failure. So same shit goes to Sri Lanka.
Oh.
Unless you get like a very recognizable career, your parents, like people around you, will not really appreciate you. So
Mm.
it was pretty bad, but it took some time for me to convince them like what I do, like designing. So for them, designing was like a new thing. Like it was like an insanely new thing. Like what is designing? Like so for them, even I think for today they still see me as a guy who designed posters. So like very different ways of looking at the
Yeah.
whole thing. So
Yeah.
it took me some time, but I think it's worth it. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
worth it, man.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
following your passion ultimately,
Mm.
dude.
exactly,
Seriously,
exactly.
Absolutely.
exactly.
And making
No,
the
they
bank.
could
Yeah.
say anything. Yeah, they could. They will say, go for a doctorate, go for an engineering job, but still your heart doesn't follow it, right? Nothing.
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
like
Exactly. You don't want to do it. It's just
Yeah.
fucking boring for you.
It's boring.
exactly. If you don't want to do it, like why do it for other people? Because end
Mm.
of the day,
I know, right? That's
you
what we are living for.
exactly, yeah. Because you live for you. Basically, you live
Yeah,
for you.
certainly, man. Most certainly, you live for you, man.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So good for you, man. You followed something many kids are afraid of. You took the right
I
steps.
now it's becoming very common, like compared to
Mm.
like 2 3 years back. I see
Yeah.
a lot of designers, there's
Mm.
like a lot of designers coming up, but that's great. So I'm glad to see that actually. I know
Yeah.
like personal few people that actually dropped out or like they finished their A levels and just became like a chef, became like a freaking bartender and all that stuff. So it's cool. So
It's
actually they're
cool,
doing
no,
what they want to
absolutely.
do.
Yeah.
No, dude. If this happens in regular terms, like if you become a doctor or engineer, we'll get unemployment ultimately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the deal. Not everybody wants to become a doctor, and I don't think
exactly.
everybody can. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
There are
if I was smart
multiples of
enough, I'll be. But like,
there are
unfortunately.
multiples of engineers. There
It,
are multiple. It's in it's
and
numerous.
like when you look at
Yeah.
India, like there's a
Oh,
problem with employment for engineers because they don't have
engineers
jobs
itself.
because
They don't have
so many
jobs.
engineers. So
Dude,
yeah,
some
I
people say that engineering was the waste of their lifetime.
Oh yeah, everybody says that.
Yeah,
Almost
probably
all
engineering
yeah.
was the
engineer here.
complete. Fuck.
Like
Yeah, they just wasted 3 years, man. 3 years of their
really, yeah.
lifetime for engineering, and they didn't want to do it itself.
They
You
at
could
the end
only
of the day, and they just get fed up of it. So man,
exactly.
That's
that's
the thing.
pretty
So
crazy.
that's the
It,
moral of
it's still
today's story.
sad, man.
Mm.
It's still pretty sad, right?
It is right
Yeah.
because a lot of people who go to those like becoming like when they grow up they want to be something else, but they're like forced to become someone else when they grow up. It's just the
Absolutely.
Yeah.
house pressure that their parents want to be this
Yeah.
and this and this. So
Yeah.
so end of
It's
the day, because
ultimately a circle right now, right? So
yeah, exactly,
when you grow up, you don't want a child. You don't want your child to follow up that passion. You
exactly,
want
and it
your
just keep going. It just keep
it's gonna
going.
go exactly.
And
That's
then you have
sad. That's
like
honestly that's
and
sad.
the most dangerous one is the outside circle. So you have the cousin who's getting straight A's, the other cousin who's
Ah,
getting
It's
straight A's.
fucking
They have
okay.
like
it's
they have a
fucking retarded,
scholarship.
man. It's
Yeah.
literally retarded.
So they have
I
like a
know, man.
scholarship and
Like
all. You have the
that's
next
like the
door neighbor
whole
who's a doctor, like that.
and
So
they just start comparing, hey, this is
Yeah.
the doctor's kid and he's becoming a doctor, you becoming this, what the hell? So
yeah.
What
I
the?
think it's
Why
a
should I fucking care? Why should I fucking care?
exactly
I don't care.
exactly
Exactly.
Why? I don't want to care about it.
That's
If
the
he's a
thing.
doctor,
because
good for
like
you. Good for you.
that's good for him, like I'm happy
Yeah.
with what I do, exactly,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
We're
don't
happy
want to
for
fucking be
them,
a
Yeah,
doctor.
but we're happy for them, but like I mean, but no thank you.
yeah. No
Yeah.
thank you,
No
honestly,
thank you.
yeah, honestly.
No
Honestly,
thank you.
no, thank you, man.
That's the thing. So like how did you know this was the path for you? I know you started designing at the age of 15, but like
Okay.
how did you know this was the path you wanted to go? Or at least ultimately.
uh, I so as I mentioned, I started with school, right? So I
Hmm.
started design at school, which was like my I back then I used to go to school, but I would just spend good chunk of time in like an IT lab was something like designing, which
Ah,
is
okay.
weird.
You
Even
told
like
us.
sometimes I would just skip school, would stay home and design for my whatever the poster is going. So it was so important to me. I wanted to do it
Mm.
because even like now after like doing like a design or like a poster or like campaign or whatever the hell it is, doing it, it can be a bit tough. But after doing it, when you look at that outcome,
Yeah.
it makes you happy. So for me, like when I'm starting, even like there was so many things going around me, but like designing was like more like that was like my anchor to save me kind of a
Mm.
thing. So that's
Yeah.
like the
I feel
thing
you. Yeah.
that held me, just if you like this, you gotta, that's the whole thing. So it was designing was back then was like my how to explain. I'm just trying to get few words.
The words. Yeah.
It's a
Um.
it's a passion, dude. You
It's
just
like a
love doing it,
hidden,
right?
hidden
Yeah, it's
passion. Yeah.
just
It's like a depression killer, something like that.
somewhat, yes, something like that. Yeah, it's something like that. It was a more sort of like it actually made me happy. Out of everything that
Yeah.
I did, it made me happy.
Yeah.
So I think I just chose my happiness over things that I have to do in the future, and I end up in the future like this. So yeah,
Yeah. Great
You
for you.
just want to
Very
end up
happy
being
for you.
happy, man.
exactly,
That's
exactly, man. Honestly,
That's the thing.
You don't want to
everyone wants to
convince
be happy.
yourself doing another job, and
That you don't
it's
want,
just
exactly, man.
yeah,
Yeah. No. That's great. I
yeah.
think that's the moral of today's story. I think. Follow your passion. Um.
Do what you
That's it.
love.
Yeah. Do what
do
you love.
you
Absolutely.
do what
Do
you
what you
freaking
love. Do
love,
what
man.
you're good at. Also.
What you love, man.
What you love and what you're good at. So.
Exactly. That's why people get mistaken though. They're just
Ah.
mistaken doing what you love versus doing what you can.
Yeah.
So you should never confuse those two.
That's so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you just want to hard work for it, man. Seriously,
Yeah,
work
I mean,
hard.
just because you love it doesn't it will not come to you easily. You gotta like work your ass off to that, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. That's the thing.
yeah, yeah. You just want
So.
to work your hard ass for it.
That's the
Nothing
thing.
comes in easy. The world is
No.
fucking unfair right
It's
now.
pretty
Yeah, if
unfair.
it comes easy,
Fucking
It's
absolutely.
very
unfair.
unfair.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
you don't
So.
get your chances already, man. In your hands.
Yeah. That's the thing. So. Shall we end this podcast? Ratish, do you have anything else to add?
Nah, man. It was great talking to you, brother. It
Yeah.
was great
Absolutely.
talking to you.
Absolutely, man. Pleasure is all mine talking to you too. You
Absolutely.
did an amazing job, man.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
brother.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you for
yeah,
the support.
No worries,
So.
man. No worries at all.
Uh,
Pleasure to be here.
right
Pleasure is
now.
all mine.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks. So right now, signing off. Cola babies.
These my dollars make it hurt.